Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a heavy session just after lunch, but I'll promise you to make it as lively as possible because the topic that we are going to discuss today is EPR, and everyone knows how important is EPR today, and every one of us sitting here is connected with EPR in some way or the other. So I'll try to make it as lively as possible, and if time permits, we can answer a few questions, whatever are available. Okay. So before I jump in, I would just like to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to talk about EPR, what EPL has done in terms of EPR, and how we have evolved in this journey, which has started around 2 to 3 years back. So I'll just talk about EPL first before I can, so I'll just talk about EPL before I jump into the topic for today, which is EPR. So we are the largest specialist tube manufacturer in the world, and we make roughly about 8 billion tubes across the globe. And we have 20 plus strong relationship with global customers who are present across the globe. And we have around 150 plus patents registered in our name. And we hold roughly around 36% of global market share in laminated tubes, especially in the oral care segment. And we operate out of 12 countries across the globe with roughly around 21 manufacturing locations. So this is the scale at which we operate. And so before I dwell into EPR and how EPR is actually linked to us very closely is, if you look at our vision, we want to be the most sustainable packaging company in the world. And that's our motto. And you all know about sustainability, and every area what we do today is touching sustainability in some way or the other. And we want to lead the world in terms of global packaging, in terms of providing sustainable packaging to our customers. So what are we doing in that front? So we are ranked among the top 5% in the 90,000 companies across the world. And we are ranked top 3% of the companies under manufacturer of plastic companies across the world. And how did we achieve this? With a lot of work we have done on sustainability. So we have got gold rating in EcoVadis at a corporate level, not at one plant or two plants. At a corporate level, we have been accredited the gold in EcoVadis. And we have taken a very ambitious target of net zero by 2050. And you all know it's not an easy target, but for that, we have started a journey, and we are working with all our partners in achieving these targets by 2050. And for that, we also have a lot of certifications, be it environmental management certification, health and safety, energy management, sustainable procurement, information security management. So these are all pillars which help us in achieving these ambitious goals, what we have taken now, basically. So without spending too much of time, so I would just like to jump into today's topic, which is EPR. So everyone knows what is EPR. EPR is Extended Producer's Responsibility. It's a scheme developed by the central government, keeping in mind the huge amount of plastic that is getting generated across oceans, across nalas, across landfills and all. So what they wanted to do is that to bring every individual or every company within the value chain to make them accountable, so that in the end we have an environment which is free of plastics. And in this process, they have tried to fix responsibility for every person in the chain. So it actually starts with importer or manufacturer of polymers, and finally ends with the brand owner who ultimately puts the products into the market, and it is their responsibility to collect back all this waste from the market. And if you see, it is a scheme which is devised in such a way that it plans to incentivize all the PROs, who are basically people who are engaged in the job of picking up the plastics across the globe, and then trying to sort, segregate, recycle, and reuse them. So that's the reason why this has been introduced, and this is a journey which has started around 3 years back. A lot has been learning for us as well, and today I would just like to share with you a few areas where we have been successful and which can help everyone of us to understand this process as such. So what are the categories involved in EPR? It's rigid plastics. Maybe I'll just go next, which will show you. So this covers 4 categories for this industry. Of course, the latest entrant into this is the e-waste. Electronic waste is also included in that. So the first category is rigid plastics. Second category is flexibles. Third category is multi-layer plastics. And the fourth category is, the polybags and other plastic sheets which are used anywhere in the entire process. And one thing which we all need to remember is that this is not related to only the end product people are using. This also covers every input that we are using in the entire ecosystem. So it can be even the shrink wrap that you are using today to package your products. It can be the plastic liners that can be using anywhere in the packaging products. It can be plastic pallets, what you are talking about. It can be the sellotape that what you are using. So it has to cover each and every area of plastic that is used in the entire process, and the responsibility is right from importer up to the brand owner, basically. So if you look at how this works, so before we go in, let's try to understand a few words, terminologies. PIBOs. So PIBO actually stands for producer, importer, and brand owner. So basically, this is the big chain which is covering the entire process in which right from manufacture of polymers which are used, and it is applicable for both importers as well as producers of polymers. It is applicable for distributors. It is applicable for manufacturers or converters who convert the polymers into finished products. The finished product can be anything. It can be a tube, rigid bottle, or whatever that you are producing. And of course, finally, the brand owners who buy the product from the manufacturer and introduce their finished products. It can be a shampoo, it can be a floor cleaner, it can be a toothpaste, whatever it is, which they are putting into the market across India. So every one of us is expected to register themselves on the CPCB portal, Central Pollution Control Board portal, as a particular category in which we are falling. And there are certain clauses of what you need to do, which I will explain going ahead. So what are the responsibilities or obligations for that is recycling use of, let's say manufacturer, what are the obligation is, we have to do the recycling, we need to submit a plan of how you are trying to manage the entire plastic that either you are purchasing, you are going it outside as scrap, what you are selling to the brands, and what is, ultimately the government will come up with certain guidelines which says that you need to use certain amount of recycled plastic content into every product that you make. So that's a legislation which is expected to come sooner, but of course the entire ecosystem has to be developed before we get into that, basically. And the target for EPR is basically the total quantity of plastics that anyone purchases, and it also includes all the secondary packaging that is used in the entire manufacturing process, be it like what I said, shrink wraps, or the tapes what we use, or everything is included. And then you have to subtract whatever has been given to the brand owners, and that is the liability. So I'll just explain to you better in this simple slide. Okay. So if I to simplify this in a most simple form, it's like this. So I buy polymer of, let's say, 100 kgs for my input, which is raw material, using which I convert into the finished goods, right? So it may be some different stages of manufacturing process. In addition to raw material, I also buy roughly, let's say, 2 kgs of plastic. It can be plastic pallets, it can be shrink wraps, it can be plastic liners, it can be plastic trays, whatever you use in your entire manufacturing process. So that's roughly, let's say, around 102 kg is the input that I use today. And let's say that out of using that 102 kg, I make a finished product, which is, let's say, 97 kg. And in that process, I incur a wastage of, let's say, 5 kg. So the input and output is matching now. And I sell that 97 kgs of finished product to different brands or customers. And it is possible that certain customers are registered and certain customers are not registered. And it is also possible that you sell to some brand which is a MSE, basically micro and small enterprise. Now, in this equation, my obligation today is roughly around 42 kgs, because whatever you have sold to a registered brand, your total liability is 102 kg. Since you are selling it to a registered brand, you can transfer 60 of your liability to the brand or to your customer. Then it becomes the liability of the customer. You are also selling, let's say, 40 kgs to unregistered brand. He is not registered. Then the liability lies with you. And you're also selling part of it to, let's say, micro or very small enterprise, which is exempt, but still the liability lies with you. So at the end of the financial year, you ideally, the rule says that you should engage in collecting this 47 kg of plastics from the environment, make an account of it, and submit it to the portal. But of course, that's not our nature of business, right? We are in business of certain manufacturing certain things. So collecting of waste and all is not our core area. So what government has come out is that they have said that there are certain agencies called PROs, Producer Responsibility Organizations. And the job of these, I'll come into that basically. So the job of these organizations is that they keep collecting plastic from the environment. They keep a complete track of how much plastics they have purchased, and they are authorized to sell the credits to you. So that means I need to buy 47 kg of credits from these PROs so that I fulfill my obligation of EPR. So end of the year, you need to give a complete account of, so it's like something similar to GST system. You need to give complete details at invoice level, how much I've purchased, what quantities I've purchased, how much I've sold to which customer. Of course, it is not simple because your invoice will actually show that you have sold some 10 bottles or 50 bottles or whatever it is, but you need to convert that into what does that mean in plastic terms. 10 bottles is equal to 1 kg plastic, whatever it is. So that you need to convert. You should have maintained proof for that. And then you need to upload in the register that, yes, this is the quantity that I have already sold to brand owners. And the system automatically, once tallies, let's say I'm selling to a brand owner who is registered, he will also upload into the system saying that I have purchased so much so from EPL. And then that system will try to tally, and automatically my liability will get transferred from me to the brand owner. So this is a complete mechanism, something akin to GST that has been developed by the government. Of course, what I put forward is a very small, simple solution. And you know, businesses are not simple, and every business is complex. So as the complexity increases, there are certain challenges. But of course, we can work around with them and try to find solutions. But in a nutshell, this is how this entire system works. And similarly, the brand owner, let's say my 60 kg is transferred to the brand owner. So it is the brand owner's responsibility to collect 60 kg of plastics from the environment. And similarly, if they are not able to do that and they have collected maybe 5 kg, 10 kg, they also need to buy the credits from the PROs basically. So this is how this entire system works in a nutshell, which I thought I'll just explain to everyone for sake of convenience and everything. So if you look, I just shared some statistics of who are registered in this CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. So if you look at brand owners, roughly around 2,400 brand owners have already registered, and some are in process and some are not approved. If you look at producers, roughly around 4,900 or 4,000 are almost registered. Some are in process of registration, some are not approved, which they need to again go back, give all the necessary data to the authorities and get themselves registered. And similarly, importers basically. So so I'm talking about a PRO, who is Producer Responsibility Organization. These are the people who are engaged in the business of collecting the plastic waste, either by themselves or through kabadiwalas or through whoever it is. And they need to maintain a complete traceability and account of how much they have collected and how much they have reused or recycled or regraded, whatever it is. They need to maintain complete details. They need to be registered themselves with the CPCB, from who you can also, I mean, you need to buy credits only from authorized, registered PROs. No one, anyone cannot do this into business. So before you buy these credits, just ensure that everyone is registered and what you're buying is genuine product that you're getting into. And they have a host of responsibilities like logistics, traceability, and so they also have to file returns. We have to file returns. The government will try to match all the data and come out with the final conclusion of whether we need to pay something or something. So this is the initial stage, I would say. So government is a bit, lenient. They are still giving time for everyone to understand, adjust, and work out the solutions. But I'm sure going ahead, things will become more stringent, and everyone will be questioned, and you need to become more compliant in this. It's just about, next slide is mostly about what EPL India does, how we are, interacting with our stakeholders, be it the PROs, and we also do a lot of, PIR recycling. Basically, we collect the waste, we regranulate, and we use into our same process. Some of the products we downgrade it and use it in allied processes. So this is all basically to promote in creating less plastic and design the products for reusability and recyclability. So this is how we have been engaged in all these years in meeting this. And if you look at our targets as being a responsible producer and going much ahead in terms of our sustainable journey. So this is not something which can develop on its own unless until you have a strong vision, you have policies in place which will reach your target. This can become much easier. This will not be a nuisance or a challenge for you. This will become much and more easier for you, and that can be a strong selling point to your customers. So if you see, we have taken these goals under Ellen MacArthur Foundation that we will reduce 25% of polymers. When actually we have to increase sales, we have to increase volumes. Reducing polymer consumption by 25% is a huge target. Of course, we have one of my colleagues will talk about sustainability journey, what products we are making, which will reduce less plastics in the next 1 hour or so. We have taken 50% reduction in product-related plastics as a goal, and 100% plastic packaging. So whatever we sell will be either recycled or reusable. And 30% usage of PCR, post-consumer recycled resin, into our products going ahead. So framework like this will help us in achieving the goals of sustainability and ensuring that plastic is no longer seen as a product which is seen in negative terms today, basically. So last, but I'll just share a few points about our learnings in this journey, what we have been through in the last 2 to 3 years. So first and foremost, what I can say is that while this looks complex, but if you have a right agency or partner who can support you in understanding the law, understanding the nuances of the law, engage with them right from the beginning. Don't wait for the year end to, when your submission time is March, don't start the journey in February. So start the journey as soon as possible. Yeah, done, yeah. So engage with the right partners so that, you can get the maximum benefit, and educate all the stakeholders. Tell your customers this is obligation, this is a responsibility. If you are not able to do that, we need to charge you more to cover the cost, whatever you are incurred in this. And the big mantra is that the less waste, less liability, and push all your customers for registration so that you can pass on your liabilities to them. And also we have seen that these credits are become expensive by the time you reach the deadline. So the same credit which was costing 50 paise per kg can go up to 5 rupees to 6 rupees per kg when you are just closer to the deadline. So start the journey earlier so that you know what is your liability, so that you can plan your actions around that, and this will help you in trying to be more compliant and in the end saving the sustainability future for our Earth basically. So I think this is what we are looking at it.